Let's take a look at adding and subtracting fractions where the denominators are not the same. So let's see if we can do this adding fractions with different denominator business. There we go. Start out with an example here. We've got 1 over 10 plus 3 over 5. We can't do this because they have different denominators. How can I get the same denominator here? I'm just going to copy this out. 10 and 5. What can I do to make these both the same denominators? Well, I'm going to use my trick. I can multiply the top and the bottom of a fraction by any number and still get an equivalent fraction. So to turn a 5 into a 10, I could multiply that by 2, and I've got to do that to the top as well, which is going to make this whole question become 1 over 10 plus 6 over 10. Yes, we now have a common denominator. We can add these two. Denominator of 10. 1 plus 6 is 7. There we go. Let's try the next one. 2 over 7 minus 4 over 21. We don't have the same denominators again. I've got 7 and 21. Well, using multiplication, I can turn a 7 into a 21 by multiplying by 3. Like so. And this is going to now become 6 over 21 minus 4 over 21. Bingo! We now have a common denominator of 21. We can add these two. Answer is over 21, and the top, simply 6 minus 4 is 2. Answer, can't speak today. Answer, 2 over 21. And moving on, let's try a couple more. 3 over 4 plus 1 over 5. Again, we don't have a common denominator. And 1 is not a multiple of the other. Okay, we've got a problem here with these bad boys. What we do in this case is 3 over 4 plus 1 over 5. We have to do it to both fractions. Kind of annoying. So 4 and 5, we've got to think, what would our common denominator be? So what is a common multiple of 4 and 5? Easy, 20. How can I turn a 4 into a 20? Multiply it by 5. So I've got to multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction by 5. How do I turn a 5 into a 20? Multiply it by 4. And I've got to do that to the top and bottom as well. Getting it? Nearly there. So this fraction now becomes 15 over 20. And this one becomes 4 over 20. Okay, so 15 over 20 is equivalent to 3/4. 4 over 20 is equivalent to 1/5. It's still the same question. The fractions just look different now. So this becomes, we now have a common denominator of 20. 15 and 4 is 19. There we go. Done. Let's try another one. 7 over 8 minus 2 over 3. Same type. 7 over 8 minus 2 over 3. We've got to do this trick to both of these bad boys. Can I call it that? That's not swearing, is it? Not really? Okay. 8 and 3. What's the common multiple there? Just do 8 times 3. 24. Over here we did 4 times 5. 20. That's the easiest way. To turn an 8 into a 24, multiply by 3. Got to do it to the top and the bottom. Turn a 3 into a 24. Got to multiply that by 8. And you've got to do it to the top and the bottom. This is going to give us 21 over 24. And over here, oops, not plus, minus, get it right. 2 times 8 is 16 over 3 times 8 is 24. Final answer, we now have a common denominator. Yippee, 24. 21 minus 16 is 5 on the top. There we go. Still with me? We're just going to try 2 more because it can get a little bit harder still. Let's give this one a try. 7 over 10 minus 8 over 15. Let's do that trick we just did. 7 over 10 minus 8 over 15. What's going to be our common denominator? Well, 10 times 15, 150. Let's do it. How do I turn a 10 into 150? I'm going to multiply that by 15. Got to do it to the top and the bottom. 7 times 15. How do I turn a 15 into 150? Multiply by 10, top and bottom. Here we go. 7 times 15 is 105. 10 times 15 is 150. Minus 80 over 150. Okay, I think we're there. We have a common denominator. Numbers are really big though. 105 minus 80 is 25, and 150 on the denominator. There we go. Final answer. Oh, wait a second. This can be simplified, can't it? These numbers are kind of big. Maybe there's another way we can do this. Yes, there is. You are going to show them, right? 25, 20, these can both be divided by 25, can't they? Divide the top by 25, you get 1. He's ignoring me. I hate it when he does that. Divide the bottom by 25, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe. 1 over 6. Final answer. Well, that's a very simple fraction, isn't it? Hey Dopey, stop ignoring me. Show them the other way to do it. Alright. Here's the deal, folks. That's 100% correct. When I was learning fractions, I did that way first because it was the only way I can understand. But there is a better way to get this answer and keeping the numbers much smaller. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to redo the question now. 7 over 10 minus 8 over 15. We found a common denominator of 150, right? But there is actually something called the lowest common denominator. And what we do is, there is a number that can be divided by 10 and 15, and it's smaller than 150. That's the number we want. And to get that, you pick whichever one you like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, 10, and then you go up in multiples of 10 until you find a number that's divisible by 15. So 10, 15 can't divide into it. 20, 15 can't divide into it. 30, yes, 15 does divide into that. So our lowest common denominator is going to be 30. How do I turn a 10 into a 30? Times 3 at the top. How do I turn a 15 into a 30? Times 2 to the top and the bottom. Now let's do this. Just create a little wall here. Equals 21 over 30. Oh, these numbers are much smaller. Minus 16 over 30. Oh, much nicer. 21 minus 16 is 5 over 30. This can be simplified. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 30 6 times. See, these numbers are much nicer. 1 over 6. Okay, so there we have it. Subtracting or adding two fractions by finding the lowest common denominator. This way, it's not wrong. Alright? Nothing's wrong with it, but it's not the best way to do it. This way keeps the numbers smaller and you have less of a chance of making a mistake. Okay? So this is by finding a common denominator. This is finding the lowest common denominator. Let's do it this way from now on. Let's try f. We might be doing the same situation here. 4 over 15 plus 7 over 12. Okay, we need the lowest common denominator. 15 and 12, what am I going to do? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's take 15. What's the lowest number that can be divided by 15 and 12? Double that, 30. No, 12 doesn't go into that. 45. No, 12 doesn't go into that. 60. Yes, 12 goes into 60. 60 is going to be our common denominator here, our lowest common denominator. How do I turn a 15 into a 60? We're going to multiply it by 4, top and bottom. How do I turn a 12 into a 60? 12 5s are 60. Times 5, top and bottom. Let's do it. Might just make another wall here. Avoid the confusion. 4 times 4 is 16. 15 times 4 is 60 plus 7 5s are 35. 12 5s are 60. There we go, our common denominator of 60. Answer. 60 on the bottom. 16 plus 35, 45, 51 over 60. There we go. Final answer, can that be simplified? What do you think? 60, 51. I know 51 is 17 times 3. 60 can also be divided by 3. So we are going to divide top and bottom by 3, see what happens. 51 divided by 3 is 17. 60 divided by 3 is 20. For our final answer of 17 over 20. I hope you got the hang of it, because it's now your turn. Give example 2 a try. Do you have what it takes to find the lowest common denominator for these pairs of fractions? Did any of the final answers have to be simplified? Put your answers in the comments, and thanks for watching.